All right. Welcome back. Episode 2 of Dealer Talk. Super excited, guys, to be back for our second episode. Really excited today because we have our very first guest on the show. I just want to say thank you to all the people who listened in and subscribed to the first episode. We had a really, really good response, so we're very excited to keep rolling. Eric, how are you doing, sir?
You know, this is Eric the Viking. You might previously have known me from like Eric the Red from the episodes that I've never had up to this point. So I'm doing quite well, Herbert. Thank you so much for that question.
All right, man. So any thoughts about the first episode? How are you feeling?
Excited and motivated, both together, which makes me have sweaty palms.
All right, man. All right, so let's just kick it off, dude. I'm really, really excited because our guest for today is somebody that I've known for a few years. Just a really, really smart guy. Somebody that's been in the business for a really long time, over 20 years of practical dealership experience. And as you know, the premise of the show is to, talk about the automotive industry and the retail side of the business from people that are doing it day in and day out. So I could not be more excited to have Mr. Derek Stringer on the show. Derek, how you doing, sir?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Happy to be here. Just happy to be here. Apparently with Eric the Viking.
Welcome.
Thank you. I feel so welcome. I would say I was Derek the Green, but that was 1999.
So, Derek, why don't you give us a little bit of a background so the listeners can kind of get to know you a little bit and kind of see where, your experience is at and just where you're at today.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. So I started business in 98 and a small hiatus consulting in the business and back in dealerships. But all in all, 20 years. The most recent 5 years, I've been out in St. George, Utah with the Stephen Wade organization. And I serve as general sales manager there and met multiple years of finance experience and multiple years of desk management, of course. And basically just so excited today to talk about wherever this wind blows us, I guess. I'll tell you the issues that I see today, similar issues, same issues, new issues, same as 1998, 2008. It just gets me over and over and over again how much we solve our problems or we don't solve our problems. And literally life or this business has changed so much around us.
Yeah, man. So that's a good point. Like you've been in it for a really long time, right? So, what have you seen that's dramatically changed, in today's environment?
Marketing, internet marketing changes everything. I think that maybe 15 years ago they visited 4 dealerships to make a decision, and now it's hardly 2. One of the biggest changes, and so it seems like more and more often we struggle inside of our dealership to ensure that every single customer that comes on the lot gets the attention they deserve, and the pressure to close is greater, and greater.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Derek, because this is a great question. How would you define marketing? I mean, just boil it down. It doesn't have to be like read out of the dictionary. Like, what's your opinion of marketing?
Interesting. Well, it's not sales. That's nothing I've learned.
I love that.
That answer.
Because I'm a closing son of a gun. I'll tell you that much. Closing son of a gun, and I can get most. I feel like I can sell ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. But what I can't get enough of these days is women in white gloves. and that is the definition of marketing.
Dude, I love that. That's so good. I love that. Yeah, man. I mean,
So I don't know how else to define it, boys, because I tell you in my life, internet marketing, I've been ripped off. I've done really great with search engine marketing, been ripped off and done really great with search engine optimization. By bad consulting, excellent consulting, and just a hodgepodge out there, and it all boils down to still what we can get on our lots becomes so precious, and so every day in our store we tout things like, we're get 100% TO, don't ever let a customer leave without getting a turn from a manager, and all these things. And so we tout this, that we are this, and then we succeed or fail at it each day. And our main goal is naturally every customer that comes onto our lot, every customer that comes and does a test drive, every customer that comes and doesn't do a test drive, make sure that you have multiple people touching that customer. Typically, we use our management staff to make sure that they are greeted well and taken care of. And this has become like our most tantamount thing because where I live, we're not going to be overrun with ups. We're just not. But we know that our closing ratio has the potential and typically is very, very high. So what we've got to do is get that, because we're in a community of about 125,000 people, growing a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealership, then we're going to get good business. And we're about 100 miles from Las Vegas, so we pull from there. About 250 miles from Salt Lake, so we pull from there. And but every up on our lot, whether they're a pass-through, a traveler, a tourist, or a local, we end up finding out that touch points and new forms of, let me just say it, pressure versus something I might have used in 1998 have to be deployed. And many times it's a fresh face.
So Derek, let me ask you.
You believe in early TOs? Is that what you said? I mean, you have a conventional floor where you just have a series of sales staff that just a conventional up system where it's a free for all. Whoever gets them first gets them, and so I mean, you believe in early TOs? Is that right?
Correct. We call it a manager meet or like early manager intervention. But yeah, manager meet, and that is we want one of our floor managers, because we do run a floor manager system.
Oh yeah.
And our size store, it only allows about 2 different teams, and so we have 2 floor managers, and then a couple of us desking, and a finance team, and 3 finance managers, and their manager producers. We use all of us to get that accomplished, and also I have developed technology to make that a lot easier. We find that inevitably, guy out on the lot, one of my sales guys, having some trouble with a customer, hitting a speed bump, runs to the sales desk, runs into the reception area. We have 2 different entrances in our dealership. Opposite from the sales desk is the reception area, and looking for a manager, looking for his manager or her manager. And so, and inevitably, they're already on a turn. They're visiting with another guest, or just in the bathroom or something. And so then it falls back to the other floor manager. Then it falls back to the desk. We even involve 2 of our 3 finance managers in turns every single day of the week.
Right.
And so I've developed a technology, an app to handle that.
I love that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, man.
Like a 3-year-old walking into and meet you for the first time, explain exactly what you have. Let's really get down into how we can benefit the market. Because I mean, look, bottom line, the reason why Herb and I have such a passion for this podcast is that we wanted to make sure that we were giving value back to the people that listen. So let's really give them an opportunity how they can get a hold of you, how they can utilize your product. What the hell does your product do? Let's get it all out there.
You got it, man. You got it. So, TO Request is the name of the app, and it is so simple.
Hey, Derek.
Laser focused, and it's perfect.
For the people that are out there, right, that are listening, is the app available? Talk about that process of how to access it.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. So yeah, TO Request is currently available for your store. We simply come in, get your dealership set up. get all of your management staff, any support staff that you may want to put on it, as well as all your sales consultants. And then this allows the app to be full functioning. It is in the market, and it's simply on the App Store and Google Play. But if you download it, you're simply going to be to a login screen, because naturally it's an enterprise product, business to business, and so it's not like you're going to go into the app and be able to tinker around with it, because it does require that a management app called TO Manager be connected to the sales consultant app, TO Request. So you could download those apps or look at the screenshots in their Google Play Store or the App Store at Apple.
Awesome. Cool.
And so this app is what I would call extremely laser focused in what it does. It does have about 8 different features, but there is one feature that, of course, is the defining purpose of its existence. Throughout all my years in this business, one thing is constant, and that is a salesperson will run into a speed bump and it end up being a mountain and the customer blows out. It could happen at pencil. It could happen before the test drive. It could happen right after the test drive, and what I like to call the linchpin moment, right at the end of the test drive. Most important time to get that customer into work numbers, of course, to increase your closing ratio. At any point in any of that, or how about a blocked car out in an annex lot that's buried 3 deep? All of those tremendous issues in the car business still today, exactly as they were in 1998, zero changes whatsoever. But one thing has changed is we all have these little devices in our pocket with the ability to ping our location on GPS. Yeah. That's what's changed. So I just harness that power, give the sales consultant a nice, pretty, shiny, big old green button, and basically it's your lifeline to management. And so sales consultant in trouble, making their own mountain out of a likely molehill in many cases. But sometimes the customer does put up a great big wall. But right when that happens, they can sit and stay the course with that customer, give an overcoming statement, pull their phone out of their pocket, slight distraction of what they might be doing on their phone, hit the green button, and help is on the way. My system follows this tremendous, I have to credit my whole team for this, a tremendous waterfall of a management alert. We call it a notification tree. And we felt like, hey, one of these green buttons gets pressed, the location of the salesperson is mapped, and then it's sent out to management. It's no good to tell just that one salesperson's one floor manager. That's not enough. Well, it's not good to tell in our case, all 4 of us, because I'm not the most relevant or pertinent person right up front to go and assist based on my job description. So therefore, what are we going to do? I can't tell one. I can't tell all. If I tell all, it's going to be the boy who cried wolf. I'll make all the managers numb to it. So what are we going to do? So I've designed with my team a notification tree. And so that's really the brilliance behind the app is, if I may be so boastful, is that when they hit that green button, sure, it's going to alert their floor manager. But seconds later, it's going to alert the other floor managers. Seconds later, perhaps a desk manager that doesn't have quite as fat gluteus as I do to jump up and run and go help. And then perhaps it notifies me or the other desk managers. Perhaps you want to throw in some finance managers like we do. And get the help out to the sales consultant as soon as possible. A typical notification tree is only going to run about 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half, or maybe 2.5 minutes before it gets to who? GM, GSM, whoever y'all want to put in it. But this is so key to the success of the app is because when these sales consultants hit this button, A, someone's got to go. That's a fact. Someone's got to go. And B, it needs to be the most relevant person who can take action in that moment. Did I lose anybody, or everybody good so far?
No, I love that. That's a great walkthrough exactly what it is, and I love the fact that you put something out there on the market that's not only relevant but necessary. I'm gonna shift gears here a little bit. I want to talk about, if you don't mind, have you got any questions to that?
No, I just wanted to say I really love this because the design, right? The product, if you will, is designed by somebody who's been in the business as long as Derek has been, and it really addresses an issue, right? And it gets that the salesperson that the opportunity to get that immediate assistance. It's done in a way that's quick and effective, and I could totally see it reducing the impact, right? Like you were talking about, customers walking out and how valuable that customer is today more than ever before, because, maybe 10, 20 years ago, they made it to buy a car was a weekend deal, right? They'd go to 4 or 5, 6, 7 dealerships before they ever made their decision. But now the fact that they're coming to you, that means that they've already chosen you because they spend 14 plus hours online doing research. So if they showed up at your store, you already have that customer, right? That buyer is there. It's up to you to make that sale. And I think that this product really can help, kind of close that gap and make that process easier. So, and then again, I love that it's done by somebody that's been in the industry and sees this day in and day out. I mean, you're still working at the dealership, right? I mean, that hasn't changed.
That's correct. On a daily basis, that's exactly right. Fighting the good fight.
Right.
With all the rest of my brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So you're in it day in and day out.
So. Oh, absolutely. And the thing that I see, and sort of the intro that I was attempting to communicate is this has never changed. As a matter of fact, it's only enhanced because of this less locations that these customers are going to visit to make their final decision. And we can't use the pressures of the 90s today. It's not from millennials all the way to Gen X, me, that's not the same customer as we had in 1998 or 2008, for real.
Yeah.
It's just not the same customer. And so what happens is we find that it takes a fresh face. It takes a fresh face. It takes sometimes it takes more experience. Of course, we know that is all the managers oftentimes going to have a little bit easier job even without the rapport built that a salesperson has. But it just takes a fresh face. And so when you keep throwing fresh faces, I'm not going to say more than 2, but when you throw a fresh face in there, it's generally going to turn things around, or at least identify a true speed bump or molehill when the salesperson may have created for him or herself quite a bit of a mountain of an objection after all, and we can turn those things around in a heartbeat. And one other thing on this front, so interesting, we saw a need early on in the app's life for that green button to go everywhere it possibly could. So we put that green button on your desktop. So if you're at a dealership that has computers on your workstation where you are actually negotiating a car deal, we basically gave you a bank teller's 911 button for a bank robbery. So when you start sensing, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
I love that.
I mean, let's be honest. It's desk managers, any desk managers listening to this, boy, we wish we could have microphones on that dang sales desk. But one thing's for certain: if he's two Durangos across the showroom, and I can't see that customer's anxiety level moving up and that customer about to stand up, at least my salesperson has the wherewithal and is trained to touch that button and just do that one simple mouse click. Doesn't even have to reach under the desk like a bank teller. Just click the mouse real fast. And click the mouse real fast, and it sends out what we call a workstation TO and goes to the same waterfall, and help is on the way. And you're in the showroom. It's not like we can't see you if we were walking around, but sometimes we're busy. Sometimes we're not walking around. And so we discovered that we need to put that green button everywhere. And then, of course, you're going to see more use of it, but also you're going to hit these customers when they are A, least expecting it, quite honestly, but also B, most in need themselves. It's not just the salesperson in need, but the customer may be losing faith, trust, confidence, like in that salesperson. And so therefore it's time to get that fresh face on site. And every manager listening to this podcast right now knows that that deal is going to close right now easier than it is in 32 seconds at the door of their Suburban.
Yeah, that's really well said, because this is really the perspective, the kind of the visual aid I try and create in the staff that I work with too. Is that the reality is that to have the wherewithal to understand that we love to boast and protest that these are our customers, but the fact of the matter is that this is the dealership's customers first and foremost, and we owe the customer, because they're the main thing, we owe them our very best effort. So I so agree with this, because it's so easy to get caught up in activities throughout the day and have that lifeline linked to your sales staff that is the one in front, and they've been well trained to recognize when the alerts are coming aware. That's a great access to be able to hit a button and here we come, ripping open our shirt, and the big S shows up.
Well, and I love it. That's a beautiful visual image.
Yeah, man.
I want to tell you guys, I'm glad this is an audio podcast and not a video, because I do not look like that. And to that point, very interesting. I want to share something with you. Early, we also saw this. That green button gets pressed. One of us gets on site to help, and the salesperson is covering up the fact that they hit the button, because they themselves, who would have previously, in previous times, run to go grab a manager, left the customer just sitting there alone, by using the old phrase, "Let me run get my business card," of course, run to go get help. Customer has all the chance in the world just to blow out,
yes, and
all that stuff. But we end up coming on site now, and guess what my salespeople are better at now? Those 2 minutes.
Yes.
They corrected the issue.
Yes.
They're sitting there covering up the fact that they pressed the button. Hey, this is my manager, Derek. Hey, I'm so glad you came by, Derek. Listen, this is the Smiths right here. They asked a question about this Grand Cherokee. I'm just going to go grab the keys so we can go on a test drive, boss. I'll be right back.
Yes.
And so literally, like, they overcame that objection, because we're forcing them to, don't you dare run.
Yeah.
Stay the course.
More accountable, right? Yeah.
And so of course they're picking up on a new skill. They're picking up on that uncomfortable push through when they thought they had to run and go get help.
That's really the bottom line. I think that's, again, very well stated. I'm reading a book currently by Tim Grover, and Tim Grover is the gentleman that is actually the trainer for, or was the trainer for Michael Jordan. He talks a lot about, you have to be able to stretch the players that you're working with. You can't settle for, day in, day out, the same thing over and over again. You have to learn how to get them out of their comfort zone, not only for them, but for you in the process that you have to really, it's checks and balances, right? So, but look, fascinating product, fantastic product, but I want to shift gears, and I'm realizing right now that 30 minutes is not going to be long enough for us, because I want to talk about how you get the gloved ladies in. I want to talk about you're finding the best way to get these folks in off the street these days, because I know since 1998 that has completely changed. What are you finding the best results with? I want to hear that. I want the feedback on that deal.
Okay, you got it. So let's refresh everyone's memory that I'm an excellent closer. Okay. That's the excellent part. So forgive my non-excellence on this front, but this is what I would like to call in my life in the car business as a labor of love, and that is massaging this source here, that source there, this combination of sources and such to really bring in the lady with white gloves, and for this day and age, what we find is the power of our own data. And so we outsource for data, and we of course insource for data. We use third-party applications ourselves to data mine, which I believe many dealerships are doing, and if you're not, you should be. That's nothing necessarily new, but it is such a critical part of our mix of marketing, and then take that data mining to, in other words, your current customer base, and extract these buyers these owners that are likely potential rebuyers in the market right now. Now, you're going to pull ahead some market. That's okay, because if you may say, well, we would have sold them later anyway. So all you're doing is pulling ahead the market. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but I mean, I've heard that excuse before among my own team.
Interesting choice of words. It's interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is well, how dare you even concern yourself with pulling ahead a buyer? Sell them now, because you could have lost them to another brand in 7 months when they did actually just organically themselves want to go buy. And then secondarily, though, is taking that data mining information and working that service drive until we can work out. And it's just probably taken us 2 years, and we are so imperfect at it. Until we can really, really dial in this dance between a business development rep who gets a notification and a service writer who gets the same notification that this customer may be in an equity position. How is that going to connect, considering we have a pay plan where we compensate a salesperson still for that sales? We've got to get to that. But how is that customer on the service drive going to get connected with one of my sales consultants? And so that has been a feat, believe it or not. And I believe that many dealerships have had to work through, well, let's try it this way. Well, let's try it this way. Well, let's try it that way. But in your data mining, that service drive is tantamount, because now they're here already, and they might even need a loaner car. And so how about just considering a new car, an extended test drive, blah, 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 blah. And we end up with a much better conversion rate on our attempts of data mining, because we are not failing any longer at capitalizing on the service drive.
Yeah, I really, really like what you're saying right now, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves. When it comes to service customers, you got to think about the value, right? Those customers have a relationship with your store. Typically, I know there's some people that walk in but a lot of those customers already purchased from you in the past. They've already said yes to you. They have a relationship with your store because they're coming there for service on a regular basis, at least once or twice per year. And so those customers are way more valuable than trying to get a brand new customer to come in and buy, right?
Correct. And the gross profits. I didn't mention. Of course, the gross profits will show that.
So that's one of I love that you said that. But we're running out of time. It's funny how quickly it goes by. So there's one question.
Herb, just one quick point I want to make. I was talking about the mix. The second thing that I just want to throw this in. Forgive me for taking another 20 seconds. But the mix of understanding and truly working out data mining, using a third party, we use bulk data to market via email. Other than that, I think I want to say this to make sure every listener hears this, that I've learned in my years. I heard it my first year in the business, and it's still true today. Anything you want to improve, particularly in marketing, you've got to measure it. That's it. You want to improve something, measure something.
I agree. All right. So there's one question that I want to ask every person that comes on the show. And so that question is this: 5 years, where do you see the automotive industry and why?
Oh, wow. You didn't tell me you were going to hit me with any question like this. You didn't tell me you were going to hit me with any question.
Yeah.
But
that's yours. You can take that. That's your little gift.
Okay. Perfect. 5 years. 5 years. We might have figured out contracts in transit. Just kidding. Those will always be a problem. Let's see. 5 years from now, we're going to see customers visiting one dealership. I don't think 1.8 dealerships and 1.6 dealerships and 1.4 dealerships will solve it. but I think we're going to get really close to 1.1 or 1.0, and that's very important to every single one of us. That tells us that our presence online and our unique and extremely interesting and extremely what's what I'm looking for, a persuasive presence online in unique, like I said, and interesting ways is going to be what brings people to your place, because bringing people in might be the literally the very, very, very end of their buying process, because the buying process is seldom going to start or even start at the 10-yard line or the 40-yard line inside of a dealership any longer, because I believe in 5 years you're going to start at the other team's 10-yard line, 10 yards from the goal. And so that is going to be, I believe, in the next 5 years, perhaps 10, but I'll stick with the 5 on this. And that is that their buying process isn't going to be to the midfield any longer. It's going to be far beyond midfield. And all you're going to get to do face-to-face, if that exists, all you're going to get to do face-to-face is, as my grandfather always says, kick her on in there. And that's about it.
All right, guys, that's about all the time we got. Derek, why don't you share really quickly with the audience for anybody that may be interested in learning more about the app or just getting in touch with you to connect, how they can reach you, and just give them your information really quick.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for that. You can visit us online at torequestapp.com. That's the letter T, the letter O, which is, of course, abbreviation for turnover. torequestapp.com. And my email address is probably the best way to reach me, which is Derek, D-E-R-E-K. That's Derek with 5 letters, D-E-R-E-K, at torequestapp.com. torequestapp.com. Best ways to reach me, and also that site right there, you can fill out a form. Naturally, we'll contact you off of that as well. Gosh, guys, thanks a ton.
What a pleasure. This was, this is so exciting because I feel that you really shared a lot, and it was a lot to take in. I know I have a ton of notes here, but thanks for sharing. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that so much. I really do.
You bet. And I hope any of our listeners out there, I enjoy looking at the website, see the other features that the app provides. But those are inconsequential to its main purpose in existence. And so I just wanted to stick with that too today. I hope I didn't distract anybody.
All right, guys. Till the next one, we will talk to you later.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.